On this video, we're going to be going over the 10 commandments of the Bible, of God, and showing you how to actually implement these commandments into your life so that you can start manifesting more consistently, more predictably, and just living that life that you truly desire. What's up, guys? My name is Nico Rapcliffe. If you are new here, make sure and subscribe to the channel. We're on a big mission right now to help over 20,000 people become magnetic manifestors so they can manifest things quicker and easier than they ever have and just become that best version of themselves. And we're going to do that through the 10 commandments. Why? I recently got this book. Okay, you guys might know it. It's called the Bible, right? I had a version of it. I had a smaller version of it, and this has all been relatively new to me because I have neglected the Bible pretty much my entire life, even though I grew up Christian. So why would I buy a $100 book when I already have a version of it, right? Well, I heard a sermon recently. It was talking about how it's really important to have a Bible that's is quality, is value, because you start valuing it more. The more you spend on something, the more you value it. And so to have this behemoth of a book when I already had one is really taking things up to the next level. And then I'm also going to talk about a Bible stack that can really help you implement these 10 commandments and everything else that you learned through this book. And we'll continue to talk about this on future videos as well. So again, that's why you want to subscribe. But let's jump into this 10 commandments. That's what you came here for. That's what we're going to dive into. So let's get into it. And you're going to see a common theme, and I'm going to explain this common theme, but I want you to pay attention and see if you can find this common theme of the 10 commandments in the way I'm going to explain it so that it can help you truly manifest, because the Bible is riddled with manifestation stories if you are paying attention. So let's dive in. Commandment number 1, thou shalt have no other gods before me. A lot of people believe that God is outside of them, that it's this guy that's up in the heavens looking down on them, gray beard, whatever you want to think about it. But the truth of the matter is that God is within you. Okay? God is within you. And that's one of the biggest things that I want you to continue to conceptualize, is the understanding that God is within you. It's not outside of you. Okay? So when you are worshiping anything that's outside of you, it's taking you away from God, because again, God is within you. Continue to hold that frame and knowing that everything comes back to self. Everything comes back to self because God is within you. God is within you. Everything comes back to self. And the more that you can conceptualize that, the more you'll understand, and the more that you'll be able to utilize these 10 commandments to help you in your life and master everything and really achieve all that you desire. Okay? And commandment number 2 really falls into that as well, is that thou shalt not make any idols. Right? Thinking that things outside of themselves are going to make them whole and complete. That's why it's if it's that money, right? You think about, if I just make that amount of money, if I make the $100,000 a month, if I make, $500K this year, $1 million a year, $10 million this year, if that's going to be the thing that's actually going to make me whole, that's making idols. It's outside of yourself and you're idolizing. It's like you're putting it on a pedestal. And what we talked a lot about on this channel is that anything that you put on a pedestal, it's pushed away from you because it is an idol, right? And it comes back to that type of energy of I don't have that, so I want that. It's like that 2-year-old energy that we've talked about plenty of times on this channel before, on several other videos, is that, I don't have that, so I want that. Rather, it's, what does God have for me? What is in my heart that is meant for me? And then you just move forward from that energy, as opposed to I don't have that, I want that. So notice that, whether that's with relationships, whether that's with health, whatever it is, if you're putting something on a pedestal thinking that it's outside of you, that's when it's just going to continue to be pushed away from you. Commandment number 3, thou shalt not make unto any graven images. Commandment number 3, thou shalt not make unto any graven images. Okay, now this is one of my favorites, because ultimately what this means is that you want to have a world-class and creative imagination, because everything starts within. It starts in the mind, right? We talk about this a lot in terms of the process of manifestation. It's a seed, you plant the seed, you nurture that seed, and the seed eventually sprouts and grows. right? So it all starts with that seed. What is that seed? As we always talk about, it's the thought. It's the imagination. They often say that imagination is more important than intelligence. And I 100% agree with that. So developing a world-class imagination. Basically what this is saying is that thou shalt not have any graven images. Do not keep images in your mind that are not serving you, that you are unhealthy, that you are broke, that you are sick. If you're keeping those type of images in your mind, you are going against the 10 commandments, in particular, commandment number 3. So continue to develop a world-class imagination and just a superb imagination, and continue to keep those images in your head. That's why we've developed the Vision Espresso. And if you want to learn more about that, we'll tell you about that here in a second at the end of the video. Okay. Commandment number 4, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. What does this mean? This one blew my mind recently, and I had to share it with you. And that's really why I want to make this video. This is one of the most powerful ones that I started understanding. Okay, what is the Lord's name? What is the Lord's name? I actually shared a little piece of this on the last whiteboard video that we made. But what is the Lord's name? I am. Okay, I am. So when you say I'm a failure, I'm a loser, that's taking the Lord's name in vain, because the Lord's name is I am. He is within you. Right? So anytime you are speaking poorly about yourself, anytime you're speaking your name, I am, in vain, that is taking the Lord's name in vain. So when you have that shift, that perspective, now things change a little bit, right? So understand that when you are saying I am abundant, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am amazing, I am love and light, that is where you want to be, right? But when you're talking negatively about yourself, I'm just shitty, right? That's when you're taking the Lord's name in vain. Okay, so that's commandment number 4. Commandment number 5, remember the Sabbath day to keep holy. Remember the Sabbath day to keep holy. Now here is a really powerful piece, and I used to kind of reject this one, and it's something that I get to continue to remind myself over and over and over again. But think about this, is that there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and maybe you're even one of them, that will hustle and work on Sundays. Okay? But there's a Sabbath day because of the fact that it's time to rest and relax and renew. Okay? And the hustling entrepreneur, they think that like, oh man, I gotta hustle because I this is outside of myself and I need to keep hustling because of the fact that it's not created yet. But here's the thing, is that when you truly understand that everything is already created, time just hasn't caught up, you have more of a relaxed state knowing that everything is already created. It's just not on the physical plane yet. So when you take that approach and you just relax and reset, knowing that everything is already created and it's coming to you, that's when it actually does come to you. And that's why it's so important to take a Sabbath day to keep holy. Commandment number 6, honor thy father and thy mother. Okay, so this is actually a metaphor for the father is the conscious mind and the mother is the subconscious mind. Now you can't have one without the other, because again, this is really a metaphor that you are honoring your father and thy mother, because then from everything that is created from your father and your mother, the children is your life, right? So you can't have just your father, you can't just have your mother, because then the children would never be created. And so the father is the conscious mind, everything we are consciously aware of, and then your mother is the subconscious mind. You could also talk about this in terms of the feminine and the masculine. The mother is obviously the feminine, the father is the masculine. I even did a clip on this in a podcast, but it's talking about a LaCroix can. Okay, think about the can is actually the masculine energy, the father, and then the actual liquid inside is the mother, right? It's the subconscious mind. You have to marry the two, and you have to respect the process as well. Think about how a baby is born, right? You have to respect the process. It doesn't happen, in a couple weeks just because you want to speed up the process, and it also won't speed up the process, but just by taking more action, just by conceiving more, right? There's a process to actually creating the child. So honor thy father and thy mother and respect that process. Okay. Number 7, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Again, coming back to this whole concept that everything is within, God is within you. Do not kill that higher version of yourself, that God version of yourself. Okay? That's what is, do not kill. Okay? Do not kill that higher version of yourself. If you're focused on worry, stress, anxiety, you are killing off that higher version of yourself, the God version of yourself. So thou shalt not kill, because again, this comes back to, the images in your mind. If you continue to keep the images that, or speak in the Lord's name in vain, I'm so shitty, I'm a failure. That's killing off that highest version of yourself, the God version of yourself, and that is going against commandment number 7. Commandment number 8, thou shall not commit adultery. Now this is basically just the flip side of thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery, because basically you are pleasing that lower version of yourself, and you're keeping yourself away from that higher self if you're continually pleasing that lower version of yourself, that crusty version of yourself. That, because there's always that dance, right? We talked about in one of the last whiteboard videos, there's this battle of the higher self versus the lower self, devil versus the God. And if you continue to entertain, you continue to pleasure the lower version of yourself, the devil, the lower frequency, that's when you're committing adultery, and that is going against commandment number 8. So what is commandment number 9? Thou shalt not bear false witnesses against thy neighbor. Okay, thou shalt not bear false witnesses against thy neighbor. So think about this. Think about how everything that you speak out, everything that you say, all the energy that you put out, it's a boomerang. You throw it out and it comes right back. Okay? Abracadabra. As I speak, I create. Okay, I got this tattoo. Right? So if you are saying things that are poorly about thy neighbor, you're saying, oh, they wrong me, they're terrible, oh, you shouldn't be friends with them. Right? It's just, you're throwing that out, it's coming right back to you. Okay? Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Okay? So if you are speaking poorly about any other people, and you're saying poor things about other people, it's just coming right back, and ultimately you're judging yourself, because the only judgment is self-judgment. Everyone is a reflection of you. Okay? So thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, because thy neighbor is ultimately you. It all comes back to self. Okay? And then number 10, this is one of my favorites as well. Thou shalt not covet. Basically, it comes back to that fear, that anxiety, that worry. Okay? That's not you. That's not you. Okay? You are abundant. That is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. Nothing else. Okay? We've just continued to, put these layers on us as we progress through life, telling us that we're not good enough. We have to buy this said product to make us actually become good enough, when you are already good enough within yourself. You are abundant, you are whole, you are complete, and the more that you continue to understand that, the more that you are adhering to the 10th commandment, and just knowing that you are a child of God, right? And it all comes back to within. So that's really the biggest thing that I wanted to impress upon you, is everything comes back to within. Now I want to tell me which commandment is one of your favorites, okay? And help me understand that you understand this stuff by taking notes and then putting the notes in the comments, as we always talk about. But again, coming back to the Bible, and why I'm so big on this, and why I bought a $100 Bible when I already had one, is that I truly believe in this, and this is weaponizing you. Okay, in a Bible stack, as I talked about in the beginning of this video, it's simply basically taking the wisdom, the knowledge that you have accrued by reading the book. Okay, and I come to this every day. I go up on the roof and I, pick out a space and I read, right? But I don't just read. I'm reading to get a revelation. What am I supposed to start doing? What am I supposed to stop doing? What am I supposed to sustain doing, right? Because the whole point of all of this is to bear fruits. I have no interest in just reading the Bible just to be able to say I read the Bible or anything like that. I have no interest in reading any books or learning anything unless I can directly apply this to my life. And that's why we're so adamant about taking notes on these videos, understanding them, and then putting them down in the comments so that I can understand that you actually learn this stuff, but more so is that you know that you actually learn this stuff. That's the important part. Okay? So that's essentially, you're doing a Bible stack right now, the things that you learn. So tell me which one of these commandments really spoke to you, and how did it speak to you, and what is it saying to you? I'm not here to tell you, what I'm sharing, the information, the knowledge that I've accrued, and what's sunk down deep for me, Now it's your turn to actually take that same concept and apply it to yourself, right? And that's why it's so important to share this type of information. Tell people about these concepts, right? So that's the gist of the 10 Commandments and how you can actually go out there and apply this to your life so that your life can get better. You can start bearing the fruits that you truly desire. Because here's the thing, is that God has the desire for you to be in heaven. What is heaven? Heaven is heaven on earth. That's actually bearing all the fruits that you desire. It's having the wealth, it's having the success, it's having the relationships. That's heaven. Right? The more that you think it's outside of yourself and you're waiting until you get to this certain place, that's pushing it out. That's outside of yourself. So right now, okay, in this moment, you are in heaven, right? And so the more that you can continue to tap into God, the more that you can continue to tap into faith, the more that you can believe, knowing that He has a plan for you and it's working exactly the way it's supposed to, and it couldn't have happened any other way. The more you make peace with that, the more that you are actually in heaven. And you do that by adhering to these 10 Commandments. Big. Okay, as mentioned before, within the graven images, why it's so important to have a world-class imagination and how we help people is with our Vision Espresso. So we offer this inside of our Skool Community. We're actually putting together a new offer where it's basically going to be a subscription offer. So if you're interested in that, put a comment down below, shoot me a message over on Skool or Instagram. But it's a really powerful tool that can really sharpen your imagination and help you get more clear on what you truly desire, what is your heaven, so that you can actually start stepping into that. So that's the gist, guys. Appreciate you so much. All the links are down below. Join the Skool Community, and really excited for you to continue on this path. And if you're an entrepreneur that wants to take things to the next level so that you can really elevate your revenue in your business, your impact, become the best version of yourself in a very systematic way using the woo and do model, there's links down below as well. We have a new program called Accelerator, and it's taking people up a whole nother level, right? Going from 7 figures to 8 figures, going from, being stuck for months to, doing $56,000 in a matter of 30 days, right? It's really powerful stuff. So go and click the links down below. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next video.